I'd like to address two more topics before we wrap up. The blood type of Lia is what is known as rare negative. What would you like to say about that? What is encoded? Why was there an attempt to decimate or even eradicate it, if that's true?
One thing is, there are always a lot of discussions about blood types, a lot of people who say, okay, these are extraterrestrial species, these are such and such souls. Ultimately, this is about the old theme of Atlantis versus Lemuria, and among other things, species that brought about the fall of Egypt and those that want to possess Egypt. And basically, everything revolves around possessing the land of Egypt because there are a lot of codes here. There's also a huge star portal beneath Egypt on various levels. Basically, it's the old familiar story between Moses and the pharaohs that we are dealing with here, especially when it comes to this particular Egyptian era. Sumeria and all of that ancient history is extremely very, very murky, with a tremendous amount of misinformation, a significant amount of misinterpretation, and a great many resets that have taken place. Starting with the important fact that the temples we see in Egypt today did not even exist in that exact form, but were actually partly assembled during the 19th century for tourism reasons. And that's really wild. I get goosebumps every time because I remember Egypt as it used to be, a star portal, a civilization that was highly advanced even years ago. In the end, Egypt is quite different from what people believe it was. The pyramids are real, they are zero-point generators and portals, but beneath them, the real Egypt exists under the Giza Plateau and also in other places within Egypt. And pharaohs are not, as people are told, kings, but rather they were extraterrestrials who supported and led a holistic society, forming something like a council. But that's another story. Ultimately, these biblical stories like Moses and the Jews and Sumer and all those things very, very vaguely tell the story of the civilization of Lemuria, Atlantis, and what happened in Egypt, and the struggle and the eradication of these different bloodlines, and the opposition to these bloodlines has its roots in this ancient conflict between Lemuria and Atlantis and Egypt, and the star races that, among others, were in contact here with the humans who, after the Great Flood, helped build or rebuild Egypt. Actually, you would have to talk about this for 2 or 3 hours, but that's the foundation. Basically, it's about this. It's still focused on this fascinating Egyptian story after the flood and the various species and human peoples who lived there. That's what I can say about it at this moment.
Okay, you mentioned 0-point energy. Not everyone will know what that means. Would you like to briefly outline it?
0-point energy, or 0-point, is energy from cosmic sources that can be used here in our realm of existence to manifest. But 0-point energy is also, on a cellular level, the point from which we create ourselves. You could say 0-point energy is the portal that arises at the moment when something enters the material realm of existence. And this energy is also known as free energy. And free energy is something that is repeatedly asked about in the New Age world, in the spiritual world. When will we get free energy? The point is that free energy has always been present on this earth, but it is used by the elite. And free energy has always been the legacy of our civilizations, but after every reset, free energy was gone. The last time we officially had free energy as a people on this earth was during the Tartarian era, before the First and Second World Wars. The First and Second World Wars were the means for a reset of humanity and the removal of Tartaria, and thus the removal of free energy. And that's something that might shock many people when I say it so casually, but you are not at the highest point of development, you are at the lowest. The Earth, as it is now, with all its things and technology, is actually at a lower point because we are coming out of a reset and are in the middle of a reset, and the next reset is imminent because free energy will soon be available again. And free energy is the foundation of a free people with interstellar capabilities. Humans have always been interstellar in a certain way, but so many people have become rebellious. They were reset against the elite, and we are free energy. There are thousands of patents for free energy generators that so many people have brought to the patent offices over the past decades, and all of it has been removed, and in some cases the people themselves have also been removed. Free energy exists and the technology is already there, but it is being withheld and you are not allowed to have it. And on the other hand, if you were to get it, another reset would occur. And that is the next point. So right now we are truly at a point where it's no longer just about simply being spiritual and waking up, but now it's really about fighting for our rights in a certain way, without fighting, but by consciously applying metaphysics and using the power of decisions and the power of frequency and resonance to stand up for your freedom and to say, yes, free energy is my inheritance and medbed technology is my inheritance, because the elite have had it all along. Medbed technology is on Earth. We don't have to wait for it to arrive on Earth. It's already here, but it's being withheld. And now it's about not letting ourselves be dominated by Satanists anymore, but instead standing in our power, in our freedom, and saying, yes, free will, I do not choose this, I don't want this anymore.
Free energy is my inheritance. What a brilliant statement. And when the sperm meets the egg, that's also a kind of 0-point energy, isn't it?
Then linearity would exist, and with it, materiality. 0-point energy arises so that material energy can exist at all. And that means in every particle. Particles form atoms, and atoms ultimately form cells, and cells form a sperm or an egg cell. The 0-point is in every particle, and there are many 0-points in the atoms. That's why it's not that a sperm and an egg create the 0-point, but rather the 0-point is there so that both can exist. Otherwise, they wouldn't be material. So let's take another step back.